Thank you for watching this short video. For those who don't know me, I'm Brother Sean, also known as Father Ted, from the sitcom. But all joking apart, fear is an illusion. And if it is an illusion, then why does it affect you and me? Please let me share with you my own personal reflection on the negative destructibility of fear. I'm approaching my 64th birthday in a matter of months, but when I look back on my life, if I'm honest, and this is how I would rather be, I don't pretend to be anything other than myself. And that all came about back in 2007 when I returned from Egypt, having run a spiritual retreat for a large group of people. But I'd been doing that several times a year for several years. And then I contracted a virus that has finally taken its toll on me. But I was gripped by fear then, but I was also gripped by fear from being a very young lad growing up in Dublin. I had fear in my heart even in the monastery when I was training to be a young nursing monk. Fear was drummed into us. Fear was part of the menu for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. Fear was in the formation and the training. And the same came about when I became a nursing monk, when I trained as a student nurse in Manchester. Fear. Fear of the matron, fear of the ward sister, fear of being ridiculed, fear of being caught laughing in the sluice with the other students, fear of being punished by the church for daring to be different, fear for speaking my truth. And yet we know fear is an illusion, and we know it feeds off our energy. And I know from my many years as a nurse, in fact 38 years as a nurse, and the last 12 of them was in palliative care, trying to support beautiful people who are at the end stage of life, who are fearful of dying. There was only about 1 in 1,000 who wasn't afraid of dying. So my role was not to talk from an academic point of view, but to sit, hold their hand, and be a part of their journey. And after many years, there came a time where I could do it no more. Because to be true to thine own self, if you're in that position of trying to empower another, relax, you give them a part of your heart. There's no use playing games and pretending to be a compassionate nurse from the textbook. You've got to be real. But fear is a debilitating disease. I've seen the impact of fear in mental illness. And interestingly, many of the clients who came to my workshops, seminars and courses around the world, and in particular in Glasgow, in beautiful Scotland, my birthplace, of the, let's look at percentages, of the 30 or so delegates who would come for the day, 98% were driven by fear. And of that percentage, 80% were lapsed Catholic. And when I got to know them through going back and back and back again, I discovered that many were wounded by their church for daring to be different. Some were gay and lesbian, some were widowed divorcees, some had extramarital affairs, and they couldn't cope with the guilt because the church condemned them. And recently I've become aware from befriending some clients who live on remote islands in Scotland, where they have a great love of the Lord Buddha. They're Christian, of course, but they have a great love for the monastic life and the teachings of Buddha, Vishnu, Ganesh and Krishna, even Sri Chinmoy and Gandhi. And when some of the locals came from the Kirk, that's church in Scotland, for afternoon tea, guess what? When they caught sight of the Buddha, they put their coats on and they said, let's get out of this godforsaken house. And then they would look at the person and say, you call yourself a Christian by dabbling in witchcraft? And the poor soul was left bereft. What is wrong with this society where it's moved, motivated, inspired by fear? Well, I blame the media, because the media thrives on fear. And that feeds into our subconscious mind. So how do we take our power back from fear? Very simply. And I learned this myself the hard way, and I would like to share it with you. Surrender your heart to the Creator God. I'm not saying become a born-again, Bible-bashing Christian. Oh no. I'm saying surrender your heart to the one who formed you in your mother's womb. And then use the gift of free will and ask for help. And a lot of people today refuse to ask for help because they see that as failure, as many do in surrendering their heart. I fought surrendering my heart. Oh yes, I did. But then I was reminded by Jesus, why are you afraid of me? I couldn't handle it. But years later I answered it and said, because that's all I ever knew of you. The church that I belonged to as a Catholic Christian drummed the fear of God into me, that I knew nothing else. Well, he said, I want you to surrender your heart to love, not fear, and walk a simpler path. Embrace the divine already within you. To thine own self be true. And I'm sharing that with you. If you are a natural warrior, then let's help you. There is a CD I recorded, it must be 8 years ago now. And from the feedback I get, it changes lives. It's not about God. It's not even about angels or anything holy or sacred. It's a relaxation exercise with 2 or 3 small tracks on erasing stress. But there is one very beautiful meditation in the Creator's Garden where you are taken on a journey. And what I didn't realize, that the divine has used love energy and has conveyed it through my voice. And that frequency zaps people who hear it, but they never get to the end of it. I would be more than willing to share that with you. If you're penniless or struggling on benefit and not working, I would love to make it as a gift to your heart from mine. On one condition, that you share that with friends who are in fear. And all I want you to do is to email me at brothersean2012@aol.com. Brother with a capital B, and everything else is lowercase. And Sean is spelled S-E-A-N. So fear, managing fear, you can do it by saying to yourself, I am a child of God. I am loved. I am loved. And take back your power from it. And look at fear. Name it. Name your fear. Bless it. And release it. Take a deep breath and relax. And all will be well. Trust me. If I can do it, good gosh, anybody can do it. We are all here to help one another. Allow me help you. Namaste.